TikTok live. Okay, so I think we're rolling here. Ooh, what's up? I don't know who's gonna join the chat, but thanks TikTok for notifying viewers that I'm live. So first I want to do is just talk about some shit that I wrote down in my notes over here. And the first thing that I want to say about manifesting. Hey, what's up? Thank you everyone for joining. First thing I'm going to say about manifesting is that if you need proof, you are not manifesting, because proof is something that is the 3D tangible evidence of your manifestation. But when you're manifesting, you're getting all of the sensations inside you of the shit that you want without any proof. So the proof with manifesting is you. It's not about what the fuck is going on outside. It's about what's going on inside, because your inner realm is all that matters. And let's see. Hey, I'm doing well. I will get to some questions. I just want to get this shit out of the way because I'm going to upload this to YouTube. So I just want to make sure that everyone gets this. Is that when you're manifesting, it's not about anything that's going on the outside. So you have to trust. Yes, I do offer coaching. You have to trust that shit is always working out to what you have going on inside. It's not about what's going on out there. You want to make sure that everything in your internal realm is cohesive with what you want. If you're checking the 3D for signs, or you're looking at angel numbers or things like that, that's fine. But really the signs are coming from you, because the outside is you and everything is coming from you. So if you look for a sign and you see it, it's you as a universe giving yourself a sign. So no matter what is going on in the 3D, you have to stick to your internal realm, okay? And something else that I wanted to talk about. I'm good. How are you? Something else I want to talk about is I had a dream the other night, and it was, I always have like crazy fucking wild dreams, which I fucking love. But basically in this dream, it was showing me that there was sort of like this, I don't know, it's like if you've ever been on a game show and you like press the button or some shit, it was like there's a 3D circumstance, and there was some host, like I was on a fucking game show, and they're like, oh, so here's a 3D circumstance, how do you react? And it looked like a fucking traffic light, like red, yellow, and green, like these round buttons, and I would press them, and then they were like, how do you feel about this? And then the less emotions that I had to whatever 3D circumstance is being presented to me, then that was like the green light, and that was like proceed forward. But if there was like an intense emotional reaction to something going on in the 3D, it'd be like a red light. Or if it was a mild emotional reaction, it'd be the yellow light, which is like slow down. And that to me was indicative of you can DM me, or you can go to my website if you want coaching. And basically what this was showing me is that the less that I, or you, or anyone reacts to something in the 3D, like the less emotion you have towards anything that's going on in the 3D, that is the green light where you proceed forward, because nothing in the 3D should ideally disturb you or bother you, okay? So was it a dream? Yes, it was a dream. Thank you. So I was just being shown that, and a lot of times the things that are shown to me in my dreams, like I was shown in a dream how reality is constructed and all of this shit, but that one especially, I do just want to say, the less that you emotionally react to the 3D, it gives you the green light to move forward smoothly. And how you don't react to the 3D is that you have to just calm yourself down. Now, if you do have an emotional reaction in your vessel, what you want to do is just say, what I would suggest doing is you just affirm the opposite in that moment, and you harness those emotions to move you forward to get what you want. Okay, so it's like the emotion is still there, but you're combating it with, you're guiding the emotion now, instead of allowing the emotion to just steer you wherever the fuck it wants, because the emotion will always be guided by a thought. Even if the emotion comes up seemingly out of nowhere, there was still a thought associated with it. So that's how you get the least amount of reaction. And that, to answer the question that I just saw, releases the resistance. If you don't have an emotional reaction, this is how you deal with triggers, okay? Now, the third thing before I start answering questions, I want to get this fucking shit out, is I was channeling yesterday because I was, and so I was channeling, and then I got this: I am God, everything is a shadow. Okay, but I channeled it in Latin because I started channeling in Latin because I manifested that I speak Latin, so I started fucking channeling in Latin. Okay, and I did nothing to think about that, it just happened. So I am God, everything is a shadow. Now, this I've seen on other pages where they start talking about the 3D realm is a shadow of what's going on in the fourth dimension, or your consciousness, or the fifth dimension, or whatever you want to call it. So you want to think of it when you're walking in the fucking sun and your shadow is always there, right? It might be in front of you, might be beside you, might be behind you, but your shadow is constantly following you. So when you are God and everything is a shadow, that means that your consciousness is what's creating the 3D, and the 3D is a shadow of what you are internally living in your mind. Okay, so when you are internally living in your mind, everything is going to follow you in the 3D, and that's just how it works. So with some manifestations, there may or there may not be a time delay. It just depends if you have any resistance to the thing you are manifesting. That's why things that you don't give a shit about, like manifesting a fucking cup of coffee, boom, it'll happen instantaneously, because typically you don't have fucking shitty thoughts about manifesting a cup of coffee. You just don't care. So everything that is going on in your 3D is a shadow. Okay, the 3D is a shadow of what is happening up here in your imagination, in your thoughts, and it's not necessarily about your feelings, because motherfuckers like get this shit tripped up about, oh, you have to be always in a good mood. No, you don't. You just have to have your mind in alignment with what you want, and the shadow is always going to be with you in the 3D. So you are God in the 3D realm. The entire thing is a fucking shadow. Everything. I don't give a fuck if it's something that you see in the media, in pop culture, whatever. It's all a shadow or reflection of what's going on with you. So the more you are focused on shit that you want over here, that is what's going to happen out there. So those are the things that I wanted to just touch on over here with my notes. I don't know why. I feel like someone maybe on YouTube or something might wanted to know about that. Oh, thank you for the rose. Oh, thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the follows. Okay, so now I'm going to answer a few questions. I just need to get that out of my fucking system. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Wow. Okay. Thank you for all the gifts, everyone. Okay, guys. Hey, what's up? What, I feel so obsessed with someone. You don't, okay, if you're obsessed with someone, you can just manifest that they show up for you the way that you want them to. They don't need to have anything. They don't need to have kids. They don't need to have parents. They don't need to have friends. How do you want them to show up for you? That's it. Like, the version of them that you want is what you focus on. You don't focus on shit that you don't want. How do you deal with impatience? So you really, like, this is like, for me with manifesting, that's one of my biggest things, is like, because I want my shit now. But the more you focus on time, the more time is going to be presented to you, because time is really just a construct, how to measure things in the 3D. It doesn't exist in like the God dimension of consciousness, because you are that now. So I would say be present, do things that make you happy in the moment, and don't look at the time. Okay, yeah, it's okay to spiral and release the emotions, you know what I mean, as long as you're keeping your thoughts in alignment with what you want. Okay, well, okay, so why do you think that you're being targeted? How to end it is you don't concentrate on it. You don't concentrate on gang stalking. You're just like, I'm chilling. Everyone loves me. My life is peaceful. Like, if you don't want something, whether it has to do with a person or if it has to do with something in your life, all you have to do is take your focus away from it. And I know how easy it is to say that, but I promise you, if you just say, okay, yeah, I don't care to look at that, I'm looking over here, what you focus on grows, because what you have in here is what is creating the shadow of the 3D. So you just say, that doesn't go on in my universe. I don't know what the fuck anyone is talking about. In my universe, all is peaceful and everyone fucking loves me. Okay. Well, what do you want to focus on in life? What interests you? Like, I really can't answer that for you, because I don't know what's going on in your psyche, what you have an interest in. But anything that you have an interest in and brings you joy and relief and relaxation and comfort, that's what you want to focus on, no matter what it is. Okay, how do you manifest a home? Whatever you wherever you want to live, like picture your ideal living situation, look at pictures of that online, or like go around those neighborhoods, or look at pictures of those neighborhoods and just picture your ideal living situation. You say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm living XYZ ABC, wherever it is. Okay, so let's see examples of not reacting to the 3D. If something goes on in your 3D that you don't like, you're gonna say, oh, okay, there's that. And then, it's gonna be different for everyone. You could do the EFT tapping, you could do breath work, which is just like just breathing through it. But most importantly, what I want you to do, if there's something going on in the 3D that you don't like, you say, no, I don't prefer this. I'm God. I'm getting what I want. And then you just robotically affirm what it is you want. And it might be the exact opposite of the 3D circumstance that you're seeing that you don't like, but that's totally fine. You just keep your mind focused on what you want, and you say, this is not real. This is a fucking holographic universe. I can change it at any moment by changing what I am focused on. And the less you even look at things in the 3D that you don't want, the less it's going to appear to you. It's like the TikTok algorithm. If you keep scrolling away from certain types of videos, the algorithm at some point just be like, okay, I guess this motherfucker don't want to see this, and they're going to give you other shit to look at. Okay. So let's see. Can you affirm? Well, okay. The chat is moving. Yeah, it is an algorithm. Let's see what energy would, if you are obsessed with him. If you feel like you're obsessed with someone, what you need to do is every time they cross your mind, to say, they're so obsessed with me. They're so in love with me. I'm everything that they ever wanted. I'm their fantasy. They're obsessed with me. You flip it. If you feel like you're getting, obsessed with someone, you just say, I'm feeling this way because they're obsessed with me. That's it. Okay. So, thank you. Does it work to affirm? I wouldn't even, you shouldn't concentrate on things that you don't want. Just say that your SP, if there's a third party situation, just say that your SP has always been free to be with you. Thank you for the rose. I love you. So what you need to do is just say that they're free to be with you. They always have been free to be with you. There is no one else. You are the center of their universe. There is no third party. If there's anything, I don't give a fuck what it is. You don't focus on that. If there's even a lifestyle habit that your specific person told you that they have and you don't like it, I don't know what you're talking about. They don't have that. Like, you can't give it focus. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can affirm that they're only intimate with you. Absolutely. Thank you. So even wow, the chat is moving fast. So let's see. I don't, the thing with ghosting people or going no contact or all of that, I don't know how you're feeling on the inside. I cannot answer that for you. If it's going to make you feel better, and if it feels like the right decision for you to just not talk to someone, then do that. But if you're doing that because there's some part of you that wants a reaction from them and is hoping that's going to trigger them into reaction, I would not recommend doing that, because that's coming from your ego. The right decision, which is in alignment with what you want, is not going to feel needy or desperate or like you need a reaction. It's just going to be like, this is what I'm going to do now, period. That's it. It'll bring you calm, and it'll fill you with peace. Change your body through manifestation. Just think of the ideal body that you want, and start doing mirror work, and just start saying, I'm so grateful that I have whatever physical attributes you want. Okay, so how to manifest a specific job when you're unemployed is, you know what job you want, obviously. Just picture yourself working there. If it's working from home, picture yourself working from home. If it's in a place, picture that place. If it's in a city, picture that city, and just picture you going to work every day. What would your routine be like if you had that job? And just say, I have this job. This job is mine. I love my job. Oh man, my job is so fucking amazing. And they're paying me more than I thought I would get paid. If you miss SP, just affirm that they miss you. That's all you have to do. Like, anytime that you're feeling a negative emotion, like you miss someone or you're getting obsessive with them, just say that they miss you, that they're obsessed with you, and that's why you're feeling that way. And the more you say that, then that's what's going to show up in your experience, okay? Yeah, like if you're manifesting a person, you have to know that you are the only one. There is no one else for this motherfucker. It is only you. There was never a third party. There's no one else. There's no outside circumstance that's going to keep you from this person, because that's who you want and you're God. And the only reason that there could be an interference is if you allow it. So what I always say in my videos is like, don't let the fucking 3D bitch you around. I don't give a fuck if it's a circumstance that seems like was going on before you entered the fucking chat with this person. Like, oh, well, I've always been like this. Okay, yeah, motherfucker, you were always like that until you met me, bitch. Who's yo fucking daddy? Me. I am God. You do what I want. You obey me. They have to obey you. And if you don't see results right away, you fucking keep on persisting and you only look at what you want from them. Let's see. Just oh, thank you. It's another version of them we manifest. When I met him, he said, listen, any story that a person is telling you, you just say, no, that's not true. This is what's true. And then you go on what you want. And I know it's going to sound delulu, especially with some of the circumstances, but this is why circumstances don't matter. If you just keep saying, no, that's not what it is, this is what it is, and you go with that new story, it has to reflect that. And this is where the thing with manifesting, especially seeming dire circumstances, is that you have to trust that it's going to work out, because miracles are natural, right? So there could be a miraculous turn of events that occurs, and then it just shows you what you want, and you are not ever meant to know how. This is like very important too. You're not meant to know how the manifestation is going to happen. Your only job, your only duty is to stick to the story you want of whatever it is, whether it's a person or body or a health situation or a job or finances. That's your only job, okay? And your reward for doing your job, persisting in the story you want, is you get what the fuck you want, okay? You don't need to detach from your manifestation because you want it. All you need to do is just affirm that what's going on is getting you what you want. So if you're manifesting a person, you're not detaching from them because you want this motherfucker, but it's the way that you think about them and the way you talk about them in your mind that you want to be mindful of. So instead of thinking like, why aren't they calling you, why aren't they texting you, you are like, oh, they're in love with me, they're always blowing up my phone. It's not that you're detaching from it. It's you're detaching from the timing, you're detaching from the outcome. And detaching, I don't even like the word detaching, because that means that there was a previous attachment and you removed it. It's like just unattached, unbothered. Like, I'm God, this is what I want, period. And if that's all you ever did, it would happen. But a lot of motherfuckers have resistance. So it's like the techniques, like the affirmations and the visualizations, are just there to calm you down in the moment. You know what I mean? How to manifest health is you say that you enjoy perfect health. Every day is better than the previous because you feel better and better every day, and you have your ideal body and you have your ideal health, and everything is amazing with you. Okay? Manifesting detachment, I don't really understand that question. You're not manifesting detachment, you're just not attached to the timing or the how it's gonna play out. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, like the SP stuff, like a lot of people, tend to get in their head because a person can be very triggering just because they're doing things and saying things. And this is where you have to really remain firm in yourself, and you have to be like, okay, yeah, they said that, but this is what I want. Oh, they did this, but this is what I want. Oh, but that happened. Oh, but this happened. And a lot of times with people, it's like you're looking at the past rather than looking at what you want it to be. And the only moment is now. So the more you focus on their past behavior, or like an argument or some bullshit, then you're just bringing that into the present moment. So you have to keep the trajectory in alignment with what the fuck you want. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you for sharing the live. Okay, how to manifest money. The number one thing You're not afraid to fucking circulate money. You don't fucking pinch pennies, and you don't ever say to yourself that you cannot afford something. You can afford whatever you want, whenever you want. You are always provided for. You're always taken care of, and you are wealthy, and money flows to you in brilliant and unexpected magical ways. Thank you for the rose. Thank you. You don't even have to believe it 100%, honestly. Do you need to believe it 100%? I mean, it's great if you do believe it, but you know, there are things that can surface in your reality, right? That, like, I'm sure some of you have had this experience. You're like, oh, I can't believe that happened. So you didn't believe something like that would happen, but it still fucking occurred, right? So you just need to be dominantly focused on what you want more than what you don't want. And you don't even have to believe it. It could even be like you're selling your own self a fucking fairy tale, and you're like, oh, well, it might not ever happen. Okay, it might not, but if you're dominantly focused on that, I'm telling you, because I've seen it with people. I've seen it. You know, if you're just focused on something, whether you believe in it or not, it's your focus. It's not about the emotion or the belief. If you believe in something, that's amazing. If you know something for a fact, that's even better, but it's not a necessary requirement. You just want to make sure that you're at least, I would say, 70% of the time in the story. At least, I would say 70% of the time in the story. It might be different for everyone, but if you're focused 70% of the time on what you want, and there's 30% that's doubtful, it'll still happen. Okay? So, yes, law of assumption, law of attraction. I mean, it's really, to me, the same shit. It's just, you know, this is what we're doing. We're creating our experience based off of what we're focused on, and what we're focused on comes mainly from thought. So you want to be mindful of your thoughts all of the fucking time. You don't want to let your thoughts run away with you. You want to be in the essence of what you want. And this is why mental diet is the most important thing. I don't give a fuck about what's going on in your feelings, your emotions. It's just, whoo, saw that motherfucking shit out. But keep your thoughts in alignment always with what you want. So, whatever you're manifesting, I would have an affirmation that you just say. If an emotion comes up throughout the day and you go robotically into the affirmation, or you script it out, or you just start rampaging in your mind. No, I am God. I always get what I want. My life is perfect. Everything is amazing. Everything always works out better than I expected. Okay. So, yeah, hey, what's up? So that's what, you know, the whole thing with even what I was saying in the beginning about this reality is a shadow. Okay, you are God, and everything that is occurring in your reality is just, it's like another aspect of you following you. And you're like, well, how do I get rid of the shadow? You don't get rid of it. You just turn your attention elsewhere, because the shadow is always going to be there. That's part of the third dimensional matrix experience. It's like, this is a shadow of what your consciousness has going on within it. Okay. So, okay, so, what do you do 70%? What? Oh, I said if you're at least 70% of the time in the new story, and you don't believe it, but if you're dominantly focused there more than the old story or a circumstance that you don't want, the shit will manifest. What, you can be obsessed with someone in the other what? I don't listen. Anyone, if you feel like you're obsessed with someone, all you have to do is say they're obsessed with you. If you're obsessed with multiple motherfuckers, you just say they're obsessed with you, and that's it. You have to flip it to make them the pursuer. Okay. Thank you. So, thank you. I'm glad the content resonates with a lot of you. So, thank you. Yeah, I mean, okay, so if you're manifesting a specific person, all you had to do is focus on the version of them that you want. So what do you want from them in a relationship? Like, what do you want? And, like, get very specific and get very clear. And if they show you anything that is not that, then let's say they tell you that they don't like talking on the phone, that they just like texting. You just, okay. And you don't say anything to them in the 3D, but you're just like, no, you love talking to me on the phone. All you do is call me on the phone. You never liked talking on the phone until you met me. And that's all you have to do with every situation. I don't care what the fuck it is, okay? Just revise it to the way that you want, and don't focus and don't create problems. And like another thing with the SP community is that a lot of motherfuckers want to get a reaction out of the fucking specific motherfucker, right? They want to get a reaction, so they flip out, or they block them, or they do something, and then it's like, that's your ego. That's not your God self, because your God self is already in union with that motherfucker. So they're like, we don't need to do shit. This motherfucker is already ours. It's just that your ego is seeing the illusion of separation, so you feel like you want to get a fucking reaction out of this motherfucker. You don't need to get a reaction out of them. So unless there is blatant disrespect, unless there's like some physical abuse going on, okay, if they're just showing up but they're not fully conformed, and they're just these little things that are giving you the ick, you just ignore it and you say, yeah, this person loves talking to me on the phone. I don't give a fuck if they said they only want to text. They love talking to me on the phone. If they told you they're not ready for a relationship, oh, this motherfucker's already married to me. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know where that came from, but they're already married to me. That's it. You know, unless it's blatant, your physical safety is in jeopardy, or if it's like a blatant disrespect, then just keep quiet, keep calm, and just revise it in your mind and keep persisting with the new story. But you don't need to block them or try to get a reaction. Like, in my opinion, shit like that is petty, and it's ego driven. Okay. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, that motherfucker. Thank you everyone for the follows. Yeah, I mean, I just say the word motherfucker because that's how I talk to like everyone, you know what I mean? So it's like specific person, specific motherfucker, it doesn't matter, you know? Okay, so if you're in a long distance relationship and that's your focus, because that's what you just said, that you don't focus on the distance, or you can start saying that, you can start saying that they moved to where you're at, or you moved to where they're at, or that the two of you already live together happily right now. Like any circumstance that you don't like with a person, you just don't acknowledge it. You don't like their fucking parents, or they don't have parents. What? You don't like their friends. They don't have friends. All they have is me. Like, you don't focus on that, because if you're focused on that, it's going to create a bigger issue, because that's where your focus is. Specific motherfucker. Multiple. If you feel like you have multiple SPs, then you can manifest all of them. It's not an issue. I don't want to tell anyone what to do with their specific person in regards to like blocking or unblocking them, because I don't know what's going to make you feel better inside. And with manifesting, it's not about like your feelings, but it's just about what feels right and what makes you have the most peace inside. So if you're at peace with unblocking this motherfucker, then unblock them. But if you think, again, you have to be very, very aware of what's going on, what triggers your vessel. If you feel like, oh, I'm going to unblock them, so yeah, they're going to message me, and there's an expectation, that's the wrong reason to do it. Like, I would suggest to never have an expectation. Just have an intention, but no expectation. That's also, you know, thank you for sharing. And that's also with like the detachment or unattachment. It's already done, but there's no expectation because you're not focused on the time. Oh, I expect it by this date. You're not focused on the how. I expect it in this way. You're just like, this is what it is. It's done. And then for me personally, just from what I've seen from individuals that I've worked with, is that when you set your intention, when you put your fucking destination in the GPS and you're like, this is where I'm going, you're just going to be guided there. And when you're guided to do something, it is not going to feel desperate. It's not going to feel like you need an answer right away. It's not going to feel like you need anything. It's just going to be like a little gentle caress. Like, oh, go here. And you're like, well, the fuck would I go there? Like, why I'm going to fucking Target today? For what? And then you run into the SP. But you had no reason to go to Target, but it just felt like the right thing to do. And then you run into this motherfucker. That's how it works. So just set your intention and the rest will fucking sort itself out. I promise you. So If you affirm for marriage, yes, because the bridge of incidents, as they always say, will happen to get you to that marriage. So if you just say, I enjoy being married to this motherfucker and we have our dream life, thank you for the roses, and all of this is going well, we have the perfect relationship, it's just gonna happen. So that's why, like, even when Neville Goddard, he says focus on the end. What did he want with that fucking famous Barbados story, right? It's like he just Abdullah, right, was just like, you're in Barbados, there's nothing else to it, you're just there. And I saw this, I think, I don't know if it might have been on Reddit, I don't, ooh, oh shit, okay, hey. It was like Neville Goddard's technique was the SATs, the state akin to sleep, the visualization before going to sleep, right? That's what he did. But if your end goal is Barbados, let's just say, and you're not a visualizer, you can just affirm. You could just script it out. You can make a vision board, okay? It's not about the technique. It's about, this is my goal, and everyone's consciousness is different. So if you're not a visualizer, don't get discouraged if motherfuckers like, well, I visualize it before going to sleep and it happened, but not everyone is a visualizer. So you might be an affirmation motherfucker. So first, for anyone, thank you for the roses, everyone. Just, you know, fucking say what it is you want and trust that you will be guided. And if you're guided to script out, I am married to SP 8,000 times, and that feels good to you in the moment, then that's what you do. If you're guided to do nothing, then that's what you do. But all of the guidance that you're going to get in order to get you to your goals is going to feel good. It's going to feel light. It's not going to feel like shit, okay? Woo! Love you too. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So if you write shit down, that can work, you know, but everyone is different. So that's why I don't want to give a cookie cutter thing, because even the shit that works for me might not work for you. Okay. So how do you ignore you don't need to ignore disrespect, okay? Thank you for the gifts, everyone. You don't need to ignore disrespect. If you feel disrespected and you want to say something, then you can bring it up to this motherfucker, but not in a way where you're attacking them, unless if it's someone swinging at you or they got a fucking blade or some shit, then yes, by all means defend yourself. But if it's just something that they said and you took it this certain way, hey, when you said this, I didn't appreciate it because XYZ ABC. You know what I mean? Like, talk it out with the person. Like, and for me, this is my personal thing, especially with specific motherfuckers. If I can't have a normal, rational conversation with someone where we're both calm and we're able to speak about things like, you know, rational, logical manner, for me, I can't do that. So I mean, I don't know, like, you should be able to speak to someone that you oh shit, you should be able to speak to someone that you're interested in, okay? Because if I can't do that, I'm gonna leave the chat. I ain't gonna do that, okay? Why do you keep blocking him? I don't know. I'm not you. It's your universe. So if you're saying this is your husband, why are you blocking them? Do I connect with deities or higher power? I am my own deity, you know, because for me, everyone and everything is God. And we're just creating our own experience. And if there's a deity that anyone has resonance to, in my opinion, that's just another aspect of them. Because if everyone is you pushed out, then that's not going to exclude deities, right? Or an angel or someone that you resonate with their energy. Okay. Yeah, I am going to post it on YouTube now that I figured out how to do that. Thank you to Queen of Manifesting. She helped me out with that. So you keep repeating the same. What are you repeating? Are you repeating something you like, or are you repeating something you don't like? How can you change your parents' opinion about SP? What do you want them to think about your SP? What is your ideal view on how your parents would view SP and interact with SP? Get that down and don't focus on anything else. Just say your parents love SP if that's what you want. What do I think of tarot? So, hey Jane, I love you too. I mean, I'm cool with tarot. I think there's a lot of shade on the manifestation community with tarot readers and things like that, because they're like, well, the tarot is not predicting it because you're creating all. But I do believe that if you get a tarot reading, it ideally would be confirmation of something you already know, and you just wanted to hear it. I do think there's something wrong with it if you're obsessively looking at tarot card readings, you're obsessively looking for an outside answer. But if you get a card reading because you're like, yeah, I feel like doing this now, you might get clarity on something that you want. But if you're doing anything obsessively, that's ego. Anything, okay? So I feel like you feel like you're saying that what you're never doing things wrong. It's just your perspective of it. So think about why you would think you're doing something wrong. No, I mean, your parents and SP, however you want them to view this person, that's it. And the past doesn't matter. Remember, anything, especially with specific people, if you are trying to especially manifest an ex back, you cannot focus on the shit you don't like from the past. No, you cannot do that. The only time is now. Time does not exist in the ethereal dimensions. You have to focus on now. What do you want with them now? Who are they now? Okay, what do you want from them now? So, yeah, it's like with people, you cannot hold past against them because past doesn't exist. And that's why, in my opinion, a lot of relationship patterns seem to repeat themselves, whether it's you had a specific motherfucker from 4 years ago and a new one now, and you're like, oh, but they're doing the same thing. They're not. You just kept that story, whatever the fuck it is, in you, and you project it onto a new motherfucker. So time doesn't exist. Imagine them as perfect, and thank you for the rose. And just go with that now. There's only this now moment. The past does not exist. Yeah, if you're saying that SP is obsessed with you in a loving, healthy marriage, and that's what it is. Just you have to, keep focused on the story of what you want. Like, the 3D is not creating anything, okay? The 3D only creates if you're looking at it, and then you're trying to figure out and solve the 3D. But this is, this is one of my favorite things from the Bible. The Bible, in my opinion, is a great manifestation tool. It's from Corinthians, and it basically says something about even though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh or something. And what that basically means is that the circumstances are there, but you're not warring. WAR. You're not warring after the fucking circumstance. You're doing it all inward. You're not warring after the 3D because you cannot. It's like you're fighting with the 3D. You're fighting with a brick wall. 3D is a done deal. It's already done. So what you do is change in here. You change the higher dimensional scope. And you say, well, this is what I want. So the 3D, it will have to dissolve. Okay? So honestly, it's something else I want to say. I was going to make a video on this. I probably will. But think of the shit that you don't worry about. Okay? Think of things that are going well in your life. And you have not a care in the world over there, right? Why? Why don't you have a care in the world there? It's not because everything is smooth in that area. It's because you don't worry about it and you don't care. So when you don't care about something, it naturally rectifies itself. It's your worry that you're projecting onto the thing. That's why motherfuckers have a feeling that something bad is going to happen, and then it does. Motherfucker, what'd you expect? Or like, oh my God, I just had to say this. I had to fucking say this. I don't know if anyone of you here watches true crime, whatever. I mean, I used to be really into it, like maybe like 2 years ago or some shit, but now I kind of like laid off on it. But whenever they talk about someone in true crime, they'd be like, oh, but they were so careful. They were so cautious. They were very prepared for something like this happening. And it still happened. How did this happen to them? I'm like, bitch, they were prepared for it. How the fuck wouldn't it happen? Okay? So if you think that preparing for a fucking catastrophe is going to serve you, motherfucker, no. Absolutely not. So what are you preparing for? And that comes to the same thing with worry. So what I've been shown is if I don't give a fuck, if I'm just like, yeah, I don't know how that's going to resolve itself, but it's already resolved now. I don't need to worry about it. That shit will resolve itself. So do not fucking worry. And I know some of you out there might have circumstances which your ego is like, whoa, but I'm telling you, if you just take a time out and you relax for yourself, because anyone on here right now, we're all chilling together on the TikTok. Ain't nothing that crazy going on in your realm. If you are able to be on a device on TikTok with me, I promise you, if you just think of that circumstance like it's already resolved, fuck this shit. Like, and you just give up and you just fucking surrender and you're like, this is taken care of. I don't know how. I don't give a fuck how, but I don't have anything to worry about ever again. I promise you it will rectify itself. Okay, I promise you. So, let's see. So, yeah, all you guys are my friends. Seriously. It's always good chatting with like-minded individuals. So, I mean, look, anything that if you love someone, you're not going to stop caring about them. Okay. Like, why would you even want to ask yourself, why would you want to stop caring about someone you love? If you love them, you should care about them. How do you manifest a large amount of money and financial freedom? You say, I'm wealthy, I'm financially free, and think of whatever exact dollar amount or euros or pounds or whatever currency is. I don't know if you're in the US, but the exact amount that you want in your bank account, like just as a baseline, and you say, I have this amount of dollars in my bank account at all times. Boom, I'm always protected. I'm always provided for. And do not be afraid to circulate currency, okay? You don't need to take action for SP or anything. If you are supposed to take action, it'll just be divinely inspired. It's not going to be an action that you're going to be feeling fear over. It's going to be an action that you're just like, oh, this is the right thing to do right now. Even if it's something like you going to the fucking football game, okay? Like what I'm manifesting a person. I don't need to go to a football game for what, but you just feel like you go there and then you run into them. That's how this shit works. Is it bad to waver? It's your perception. If you think it's bad to waver, then it's going to be bad to waver. But the thing with wavering is that you ideally don't want to do that because you can't feed two fucking wolves, right? You ever hear that parable? I forget how it goes, but basically, this old man is telling some kid or some shit like, about the two wolves, and there's this wolf and there's that wolf, and then the kid is like, oh, which wolf wins? And the guy's like, whichever one you feed. So if you're feeding the old story, well, then that's what's gonna win, right? If you're feeding the new story, that's what's gonna win. Because a lot of times when motherfuckers experience inertia, what happens is that they're in between the two stories. So it's like 50-50, and that's a good thing. If nothing is happening, then that can be a good thing, because it means that you've already built up enough momentum that the old story has no real control in the 3D anymore. Not that it ever really had control, but you know what I mean. And you're already building the new story. So if nothing is happening, that could be a good thing. And all you need to do is to get shit moving in the direction that you favor is just keep feeding the fucking story that you want. So wavering might get you half-ass shit. It might get you SP unblocked you, but they just want to be friends, right? That's what wavering gets you half-ass shit. So if you see something that you don't like, then you have to just continue and you have to press forward. So how do you stop wavering? You just pick the story that you want and you stick with it, and that's the mental diet, and that's the discipline. So it's not bad to emotionally respond, but when you're emotionally letting those feelings out, you have to keep your mind directed towards what you want. You can't just you can't just let the emotion take you and like run away with you. You have to be like, okay, yeah, this emotion is here and it's valid and I'm letting it pass through my vessel, but this is what I want. And in those moments when you are triggered, you have to persist the most, because when everything is fucking chilling, it's easy to be like, yeah, I'm God, I got this, I got that, but if you see some shit you don't like, motherfucker, that's the time you need to persist the most. It's in those moments, and you're like, this emotion, yeah, I'm gonna let it pass through. I'm gonna let it pass through. I'm gonna let it pass me over. But I know what I want, and this is what I want. And you just keep saying in your mind, because the thought is more important than the emotion. I promise you. Do I believe in thought transmission? Absolutely, because I've seen it so many motherfucking times. So many fucking times, okay? It's always happening. And thought transmission, honestly, is even happening with things that don't have to do with the person. Okay, it happens with let's say you're just thinking that you want more money, okay, and then out of nowhere your boss decides to give you a raise, but you weren't thinking about asking for a raise, you weren't thinking about having a conversation with your boss, but they just picked that up. That shit happens. So it happens with everything. Okay, how can you stop wavering? I mean, okay, I think I answered that one already. Affirmations. Yeah. Okay. So affirmations it could be beneficial if you feel any resistance. If you're saying the affirmations, like if you're saying I'm a multimillionaire, then you might be like, ooh, like it might be much for you if you've not experienced that. Then you can say, why am I a multimillionaire? And then that will be like kind of like a buffer, and it'll allow you to feel more at peace until you're able to say I am a multimillionaire. Okay, but if you don't feel any resistance to saying I'm a multimillionaire or whatever it is you're manifesting, then go with that. But the affirmations, in my opinion, are just there as like a buffer to be like, okay, this person's nervous system might not be on board with that in this moment. So you just ask the question, and the question also can be beneficial because then it's like your subconscious is going to try to figure out an answer, like, well, why is this motherfucker a multimillionaire? Because they get checks in the mail every day or some shit, right? So let's see, what do you think it means if you stop caring about SP? It's your universe. Thank you for sharing. Hey girl. So I can't answer those things because I'm not in your consciousness. What do you think it means if you stop caring? Like, that's something for you to ask yourself. If you're in a situationship and that's not what you want, then you're going to start saying that they're committed to you and they only have eyes for you, and that's what it is. Yes, absolutely. It's all about consistency. You have to be consistent. Like, it's like a lot of motherfuckers like to compare going to the gym with manifesting. Like, if you don't go to the gym consistently, you're not going to see results. If you're not on your mental diet, you're not going to see results. So even if, let's say, you manifest this person, right? And then now you're with them and you're in a relationship with them and now you're dealing with them every fucking day. You think there's not going to be potentialities for triggers with them, even if they're small and minute? And then, like, you have to stay on board with your mental diet even when you get the fucking thing. Because this shit don't shut off. It do not shut off. I'm telling you that you're creating your whole entire life based off of your fucking perspective of whatever the fuck it is you're looking at. What to do? They don't have a kid. No, if you see someone that you like, you don't want them to have a kid, they never had kids. I don't know what the fuck that was. Some weird mix up. That was a glitch in the matrix. No, they don't have kids. They never had kids. They despise kids. That's it. For anything, okay? Like, if there's something that you think is immovable, I promise you nothing is immovable. You just affirm against it, but you have to maintain your fucking ground in whatever the fuck it is, okay? So if you're getting on and off behavior from someone, that most likely means that you are wavering and you're going back and forth between the old story. So, like, pick a story, pick a version of them that you want, and that's it. There's nothing else. And whatever happens in the 3D, whatever they say to you, whatever they do, no, that's not happening. This is what's happening. And this is where, motherfuckers talk about Delulu is the Salulu. It's like, but you're hallucinating this entire experience anyway, but you're hallucinating it based off of someone else's perception. Like the fucking program, what are we taught? What are we programmed from an early age? Well, you have to go to school. You have to obey this motherfucker, and you have to obey that motherfucker, and all these authority figures, and then you get a good job, and you make money. No. Why do motherfuckers believe that they need a job to have financial success and financial freedom? Because it's a program. So it's everything, but you just don't realize that everything is a program because that's just the way society operates. Okay? So how to manifest thousands overnight? Picture the dollar amount that you want and just see it in your bank balance. Okay? And if you don't get it overnight, you're not going to give up. You're going to keep persisting because that's what makes shit real. It's your insistence on the thing. Another thing from the Bible that I like to fucking say is that there's a story, I think I said this in my other live too, some dude was knocking on a motherfucker's door and it was late at night and the dude was like, yeah, I'm sleeping. What do you want? Or he's like, can I get some loaves of bread or some shit? And then the dude was like, yo, but I'm sleeping. The dude was like, knock, knock, knock. I want my loaves of bread, homie. And then because he kept knocking, the guy finally was like, all right, I'll give you the fucking loaves of bread. Just leave me alone. You know, and that's how the fucking this works. It's like you just, oh, okay. You're going to let the 3D bitch you around. You bend over, spread your cheeks because the 3D is showing you this. No, you say 3D, you're my bitch, motherfucker. And you do what the fuck I want. And the 3D doesn't do what you want right away. Motherfucker, this is what you're doing. And if it still doesn't do what the fuck you want, hey, 3D, this is what you're doing. And that's where you have, because, you know, the 3D, because we can touch it, seems more real than what's in here. But if you are believing that the 3D is so real, then that's what you're going to experience more of that. So you had to keep on going. You had to know that you are the only operant motherfucking power. That's it. So, what about consistently see? Okay, so if you're seeing the opposite, that again, that's something else that you are labeling. You're labeling as the opposite when you could be looking at everything that's going on and you could be saying this is occurring because I'm getting what I want, no matter what it is. And you don't need to know the reason. You don't need to know what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, imagine there's a stage and there's like a curtain, and you know when they do the different acts, okay, they close the curtain. You can't see, right? Because you're just enjoying the show. You don't know what the fuck is going on behind there. You know, there's like costume changes and wardrobe and makeup, and you know they're bringing new props out, but you're not meant to see that because that's not your job. You're not a fucking stagehand, okay? You're saying this is what I want, and that is what is going to happen. So you cannot think about what's going on behind the scenes. And remember, movement is always happening. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. There is never no movement. So you have to think of every movement, even if your ego is perceiving it as opposite, you're still getting what the fuck you want, okay? So if you want a specific thing to occur with someone, such as going on a trip or whatever, just picture yourself as already there, or you can affirm that you're already there, or script out a scene as if you're already there and just keep saying this already happened. Okay, and if it's something especially like, you can affirm in the past tense too. You can be like, oh, I'm so happy that we enjoyed this trip together, right? To imply that it already fucking happened, you know? But it's not about like, yes, I do offer coaching. So it's just about like, yeah, it already happens. Like, it's in the moment. And if you affirm from something in the past tense, that's even more amplifying that it already fucking happened. You know what I mean? So, let's see. It really depends. It's your universe. If you're affirming, I will have this, I will do that, and you know, to you it's working, that's fine. But you know, remember, time is now. So you would ideally want to say that this is what's going on now, or it's something that already happened, implying that that time has already occurred, which is gonna, in my opinion, speed it up. Because if it already happened, it's like you're looking at a memory. Think of like a pleasant memory that you have, and you're like, man, that was great. Like, so you want to just envelop yourself in that same energy as if you're creating a new memory of something that already happened. And that's what you do, because if you're creating like a future memory, then it has no choice but to happen, because you can remember something so vividly, and you're like, oh man, it feels like you were back there, right? But you're not. You're fucking here in this time now. So that's how you want to be creating your future, in like future memories of, so, oh man, I remember when that first million hit my bank account, homie, oh man, I was so shocked. But then when my second million hit, I was used to it by then, and now I just expect millions to hit my bank account every week. Okay, so you want to do it like that. So let's see. I don't, how to script, just in notes in your phone or on like a piece of paper, pen, pencil, whatever, just write down what you want to happen, basically. Okay. Whew. Let's see. Oh, thank you for the gifts, everyone. Oh, without the shade. Yeah, I got my they live fucking shades on all the time. If you want the SP to be divorced, they're already divorced. Or you can just say that the SP was never married. They never even had the intention of marrying anyone until they met you. Remember, it's only you. And those past stories don't exist because there's different... And I'm going to tell you why. Because let's say the SP marriage, whatever, they were married. Okay, cool. That happened in one timeline. But if you're in the timeline here where you're saying SP was never married, they never had kids, they never had parents, they never had friends... That's the timeline you're shifting in, because infinite versions of the same person exist. So all you're doing is switching timelines to where that never happened, okay? But you have to remain firm in that timeline where it never happened, okay? Woo! Glad you love the live. So, yeah, if you're triggered by a person or anything for that matter, I would just recommend... affirming the opposite. Like it, oh god, I do this fucking puzzle piece with the verifications. I don't know why they, here we go. I don't know why they do that, but hold on. Okay, right, how fucking wild is that? But yeah, I would just recommend affirming the opposite, like robotically just going in your mind and saying boom 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 boom, this is what I want, whatever it is that you want. For a specific person, if you want them to do whatever, if you want to be married to them, but you're in no contact with them right now and you're triggered, we're already married. We're already happily married. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but we're already happily married. And just do that until you feel better. But do not suppress your emotions. Don't pretend the feeling is not there. Just say, oh, this feeling is here. It might be uncomfortable for a little bit, but I'm getting what I want. And just let it out, however you need to let it out, okay? So, let's see, is it enough to just affirm? Yeah, but you know, the thing is, you're always affirming. Everyone is always talking to themselves in their mind, so it's not something new that you have to, like, prepare for or plan. It's like, you're thinking, like, some of you might be thinking, what am I having for dinner tonight? And that's a fucking affirmation. You're talking to yourself in your mind anyway, so just talk about shit that you want in your mind. Like, if it's not serving you, then why the fuck is it in your psyche? Just let it go. You know what I mean? So that's where you had to be strict with the affirmations in your own minds. You had to discipline yourself. Like, your only job is to really just start seeing things the way that you want them to be. Oh shit. What's up? This is woo. Just start saying shit and seeing shit the way you want them to be. And I don't give a fuck how delulu it sounds. I have seen this fucking happen. I've done this myself. If you just have a story and you're like, but this is what it is, but this is what it is, but this is what it is, and that's all you're focused on, it will fucking happen, okay? But it's like the outside, if it's showing you that shit is moving, or if it isn't, you have to remain focused. It's not bad if you're wavering unless you think it's bad. Do sigils work? It depends. Do you think sigils work? Because it's your universe. So if you believe that a sigil works, yes. If you believe that you brushing your teeth every morning works, then that's what it is. Because you're putting the meaning to everything. So if you believe in something, then that's how it's going to play out for you. Okay? Yeah, you have to persist in the things that you want. No, if it's a circumstance you don't want, you honestly, I would say just ignore it. Because the times for me personally, when there was anything going on that I didn't like it, I'm just like, yeah, this doesn't exist. I just pretended it did not exist, and then it faded away. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And I've done this with people, with like body things, with like health things, with fucking, I mean, like every topic under the sun. If I didn't like it, I was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. That's not going on. And it's your focus on the thing. So if you're perceiving something as an annoyance or a problem, that's what you're bringing to yourself. So just tune shit away and shit will sort itself out. So, Do I have a favorite crystal? I really like moldavite personally. It's a very powerful stone. I also like shungite, but I don't know if I'd have a favorite. So no, you do not have to believe. You do not have to believe in the, as long as your focus is there. It's just everything is a story that you're telling yourself. Okay, so if you're watching a fucking Disney movie, do you believe that it's real or not? But you're engrossed in the story, so that's just, you're like, oh wow, this is entertaining. So as long as you're keeping yourself entertained with shit that you want, that's all you have to do. Oh, thank you. So disciplining your mind, in every moment, if you have a thought that's coming up and you don't like it, then you say, I'm choosing to think something else, because a thought in and of itself is not going to create, okay? Like if you have one random stray thought, it's like, okay, that just appeared. How did it appear? But you know what? This thought, I don't really like it. So I'm just going to change the channel. And you can't really take the thoughts personally. Like, yes, your thoughts are helping you to sculpt your reality experience, but you can't take them personally. Okay? If you have a negative thought, whatever you're doing. Look, for anyone who's manifesting an SP, if they tell you something you don't like, you're not taking it seriously. You're just like, okay, yeah, they said that, they did that, okay, but that's not what I want, so that's not what's happening. And if you're not persisting in it, and if you just take what they said at face value and you're going with it, then you're now making them God of your experience. Why the fuck would you want to do that? Oh, SP said that they don't like talking on the phone. They just want to text. Oh, okay, so you're just going to accept that? No, you're fucking not. If that's not what you want, why would you accept that? Now you're giving them the power because they said some shit, but you didn't like it, but you're God, so you're the only operant power. So no matter what they fucking say or do, if you don't like it, you're like, no, but this is what I want. And they're getting that. Like thought transmission, it's constantly going. You don't know when they're going to act out or say what you've been sending them through thoughts. You're not going to know that because you're not meant to know that, but it will happen, okay? So let's see. Best manifestation technique. There. I don't have a best manifestation technique because everyone's consciousness and psyche is different. It just depends what works for you. Like if you've noticed a certain method works best for you, I suggest sticking with that, no matter what me or anyone else on here tells you. Is it better to pretend something never happens or it's been resolved? I mean, it's kind of like the same thing, because it's like whatever the issue that was, it's on this timeline, but if you're already on this timeline, then everything around you is going to start to shift to this. So just start thinking of it like the ideal that you want, and whatever is easier for you. If it's better and it feels more comfortable for you to revise the situation, then do that. If it's more comfortable for you to just say that situation never happened, then do that. It just depends what's going to make you feel more at peace, okay? Due to match the frequency. So the frequency is just the rate at which you're returning to the state, okay? Because frequency, like the root in Latin basically means like to crowd out everything else, okay? So it's not a frequency that you're necessarily feeling when motherfuckers talk about raise your vibe. It's a frequency. How often are you returning to the state of what you want? Okay, here's the state. I want vanilla ice cream. Here's another state. I want chocolate ice cream. Okay, so which one are you more in frequenting more, right? That's the frequency. How often are you thinking about vanilla ice cream versus chocolate ice cream? That's all it is. And I know, like, for something that is considered important to you, it might not seem like a fucking ice cream thing, but you had to just keep returning to that state of being, of already having what it is you want. It's not about a feeling. It's about how often you frequent that state to crowd out everything that is not that state. Are other people real? I mean, okay, look, this is just my opinion. I mean, I think there are a lot of NPCs out there, but you're not going to really be in close proximity with one, because you can't really be in close proximity with an NPC because they really have no storyline. They're just kind of there. So, other people being real, yes, they're real, but they're also aspects of you, and they're only attracted to you by what you expect from them. Even if it's someone that you just encounter randomly at like the fucking grocery store, there's still an aspect of you, like they're real, like they're having their own thoughts and things like that, but the resonance that you have between anyone that you encounter is just another version of you. So if you're in a really bad mood, you might encounter a bunch of assholes one day, and the next day, if you're in a good mood, you might encounter a bunch of like cool motherfuckers, and they're just reflecting you back to you. So they're mirroring back what your expectation is. Because another thing with the manifestation is also the expectation. So if you're manifesting marriage, okay, but you expect to be fucking single, like that's really the energy that you're projecting forward, right? So it's kind of like a hollow manifestation. Or if you're manifesting money, but you're thinking that you can't afford your fucking place, so you need to downgrade and get a smaller apartment, that's your expectation. So don't fucking have a plan B. Don't fucking have a plan B. Just be like, this is what I want. Period. That's it. And it's against the frequency. You crowd out all other choices. You crowd out all other realities. You say, this is what I want. And a lot of times, this shit will happen at the very last moment, especially if you're on a time crunch and you set a certain date. This is what I've noticed. It will happen like right then. And you're like, oh shit. Okay, but that's only because you set that date. So if you're setting it, it's still your reality. So the thing will happen by them, even if there is no sign of it coming towards you. So if it's your understanding that whatever you say and believe will happen, then that's it for you. That's how your universe works, you know? Do I believe in guardian angels? I mean, I believe that there's aspects of me personally that are guiding me in certain instances, because I have experienced that. I don't know if I necessarily call it like a guardian angel, but I believe that everything and everyone is another aspect of me. So any being that I encounter is just me. And it's like, you know, it's kind of like if you're setting your, you know, in the GPS, right? This is where I want to go, but oh, there's a detour over here. I'm driving, I can't see that, but the motherfucker watching the GPS is like, oh, go this way. So like, that's kind of my thoughts on like guardian angels and things like that. They're just guiding you because they can see from a higher perspective, but they're all just aspects of me, which is, you know, from the ego perspective, if you're just looking at the 3D of what's going on around you, you can't see the bigger picture. So, is it enough to affirm robotically? Ah, thank you. I mean, is it enough? Do you believe that it's enough? Because, like, robotic affirmations, for me personally, work very well. I've noticed it with a lot of others that it works very well. But, you know, if you don't believe in it, you're still robotically affirming or affirming all day long anyway. And your thoughts are just creating beliefs in you, which is creating your reality. So I would say just try it and see what happens. In my opinion, everyone is God in human form. What's why astrology? I'm into astrology. Hey, what's up? Glad you're here. Yeah, I believe in astrology, but I don't look at it in this term of like anything negative. Like some motherfuckers talk about, oh, this transit is happening, so this is gonna happen. I'm like, no, everything that I look at is fucking for my benefit, motherfucker. So it's really, and of course, yes, it is a belief system, right? I mean, I do believe in it, but to an extent. And to the extent I believe in it is I look at it for my benefit and just entertainment, you know? So, woo! You've seen angels. That's amazing if you've seen angels. Love your videos. Thank you. So Angel numbers, I mean, look, it's all your perspective, okay? It's all your perspective. If you believe that seeing this number is giving you a certain message, that's what it is. So, like, for me, I don't really look at numbers like that as anything in significance. I'm just like, okay, it's just a number, But if you believe that, angel numbers mean something, then that's what's going to be for you. So, yeah, you can manifest to become psychic. You could just start saying, I'm psychic. I have such an amazing intuition. All my predictions are always accurate. Everything that I say comes true. And like, psychic ability is also like, in my opinion, everyone has that because everyone is tuned into everything, right? Because that's what thought transmission is, really. You're just picking up on the energy of someone else because there is no separation. It's all one consciousness. It's just the illusion of the ego, and that we have like different vessels and stuff. Like, that's why, oh, this motherfucker is named so and so, that motherfucker is named so and so, right? They're just different aspects, but everything is one consciousness, so you're always all connected. It's just that if you don't believe in psychic ability, then you're just gonna chalk shit up to like coincidence or whatever. I don't want to tell you that angel numbers mean nothing because I can't answer that for you. If you believe that they mean something, then that's what they're going to mean for you. But for me, personally, they don't mean anything. No. Do you believe that they... Oh, yeah. Well, everything is now because you're only looking at the past or the future from now, right? Think of a memory you have from when you're like 10 years old. You can you pinpoint it? Can you touch it? Right? It's in your mind, but you're summoning it right now from your mind. If you think of a future goal that you have for 5 years from now, yeah, you can visit it, but you're visiting it from the now moment. So time is really just to measure things in the 3D. It's not something that exists in the God consciousness. That's why when they talk about like God is saying, oh, I am, it's like, I am wealthy. I am in my perfect partnership. I am my ideal. It's going on now. You're not saying I will be, right? You're not saying I used to be. It's like I am. It's now, okay? So, let's see. Synchronicities. I mean, I think synchronicities are natural. I think they just happen, and like that's supposed to happen to like guide you on your way. I personally don't believe in coincidences. I mean, if someone does, that's on them. But for me, synchronicity is just like, it's the way it's supposed to be. Like, that to me is natural and normal. I think trying to put logistics into something is unnatural and not normal. So synchronicity, if you just feel like calling off of work one day because you feel like it, and then you go and you buy a lotto ticket, you win $1 million, then your SP happens to be at the fucking grocery store that same day, all because you just felt like, yeah, I'm just gonna call out of work today. Don't make sense, but I'm gonna do it. Like, I believe shit like that is more natural than trying to plan something. Well, I should text my SP and see when they want to hang out. I should put in for more hours because I want more money. No, like, fuck that shit. So, are there different versions of you? Oh, hell yeah. There's always different versions of you. There's different versions of you right now. There's a version of you right now that's on the toilet bowl. There's a version of you right now that's on the beach. Like, any version of you that you can imagine already exists because creation is finished. If that version did not exist, you would not be able to even picture it. So, but why would you accept a story that they don't want a serious commitment? That's just something they said. So all you had to do was just say, they're committed to me. They're married to me. I'm their one and only. Like, oh my God. So yeah, you can't like whatever is going on with this person, I would just say, whatever they say, okay, yep, cool. In one ear, out the other. But you're doing this, and you're doing that in your mind. That's what I was talking about in one of my other videos where I was saying energetic ultimatum, which is like, you're informing them and you're instructing them how to show up for you, but you're not telling them that. You're just like, well, this is how they're showing up, and that's it. And then if they still don't show up the next time you interact with them like that, you're gonna keep fucking affirming, you're gonna keep fucking persisting, and you're not gonna let the 3D fucking, bitch you around. You're just gonna say, and you know, another thing is like with the free will thing, when motherfuckers talk about manifesting a person and oh, but that interferes with their free will. No, it doesn't, because you are tuning yourself to the version of them that you want. That version already exists because they're you, and you are the only one that has creative control in your universe. They cannot do anything. They only showed up that way because you had a belief or you had some story, either like, oh, okay. So if someone is showing up for you hot and cold, or that they don't want a commitment, why? Do you have a story about that? Because you wouldn't have attracted that, honestly, if you didn't have a story about that going on. Woo! Aw, thank you. Let's see. Thank you for the follows. Let's see. I mean, if your self-concept is elevating and leveling up and you still love SP, well, I think that's positive. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you can manifest for both, you know, and like a lot of like talk about, oh, do you need good self-concept to manifest a motherfucker? And like, no, you don't, because if you just keep saying that SP is married to me, that really has nothing to do with your self-concept. It's just, that's a separate thing in and of itself. Like, self-concept is good, yes, but you don't need that to manifest everything, because there are different brackets. So you might have a great self-concept and then you manifest your SP that has nothing to do with your self-concept, okay? Like, it's just a separate entity. But then now you have to look at, like, how do you view relationships? Who are you in a relationship? Like, so, like, you can manifest the person, okay? But if you have another underlying story that relationships are never work out, or this or that, then, you know, that's not necessarily self-concept either. That's just a story you have about relationships. So self-concept, I feel like, is very tricky. Motherfuckers say, oh, you need to have a good self-concept to like, no, you fucking don't. It's great if you do, but you don't need that to manifest, honestly. If you want to manifest two SPs, you would just picture what you want from both of them, and you would just go with that story. And however, you know, it's the same as manifesting one SP. You don't accept some shit from them that you don't want, and you say, no, this is how they're showing up for me. Aw, thank you. So, I mean, woo, yeah, I do lives like super randomly. I don't have a set schedule, but I'm glad I'm here too. Let's see. So, I mean, yeah, you could have two. Picture these motherfuckers fighting over you. Put them in a fucking mud wrestling pit. Fuck yeah. Can do whatever you want. I mean, you don't need to have a routine for manifesting. I would say, in my opinion, the most important thing for manifesting is just being mindful of the thoughts you have throughout the day, because you could listen to meditation, you could do breath work, you could go to yoga, you could fucking, you know, visualize shit, script shit out. But if the majority of the day you're fucking thinking against what you want, if you're having a fucking mental argument with this motherfucker in your mind, or you're thinking about how shitty your circumstances are, you just overriding all the fucking work that you did. So the most important thing for manifesting is just monitor your thoughts throughout the day when it comes to manifesting. If you're using a picture them, just talk to them and look at them in their picture and just tell them everything that you want them to do for you or say to you. So is it possible to manifest an SP if they don't have good mental health? Well, that's a story that you're telling about them, whether it's a story that they told you or a story that you heard from something else. Why would you want to picture your SP as someone that doesn't have good mental health to not be in a relationship with you? They're already healed wholly and completely and ready to be with you. Like, that's it. Don't tell a story about your SP that you don't want going on, you know? Oh, the moans. Yeah, I don't know. I think it adds a little spice to the video rather than just sitting, because I get like bored a lot of times, like just hearing someone talk, and there's like, it's like, okay, like it gets monotonous. So I just add that in there because I don't know, I'm fucking weird. Yeah, the moans. No, I don't agree that only a few are manifestors naturally, because everyone is manifesting their experience. So it's just, are you manifesting the shit that you want naturally? That would be the question. But everyone's manifesting, it's just they're not aware of it. Yeah, like you could manifest your SP to do whatever the fuck you want them to do. Do I visualize before sleeping? Yes, I do. Just because, I don't know, it feels right for me to do. And I also listen to my sleep affirmations. Fuck yeah, I do while I'm sleeping. And I also, use robotic affirmations throughout the day, and I'm mindful of my thoughts. You can manifest in steps if you want. If that's what feels good to you, you can manifest however you want. I mean, a lot of times motherfuckers talk about going straight to the end just because it kind of it cuts the middleman out, right? It's just like, okay, you go straight to the end, everything is kind of already there. But if you feel more comfortable manifesting in steps, like first you want to, I don't know, go on a date or something rather than just a marriage, and yeah, you could do that too. It's just a matter of what is comfortable for you, okay? So, I mean, you can't look at circumstances with anything, especially with a person. It does not matter. And you're not manifesting movement. Movement is always happening. Like the second that you say something, you declare something, you are on that trajectory of that timeline. You're in that state. So it's like you say, I am a multimillionaire. Then guess what? Boom, shit starts moving. But then you check your bank balance and you're like, ooh, right? Then you go to another state and then shit starts moving there. So there's always movement. It's just, how can you keep calibrated with the movement that you want? Because remember, everything is waves, right? Even particles, right, behave as waves depending on you, the observer, looking at them. So waves are fluid. They're always moving. They're not fucking stagnant. You ever go to the fucking ocean and, like, even if there's no fucking big waves, there's still movement. So that's how you have to think of reality. Every time you say something, what trajectory on you, and the waves carry you towards what the fuck you want. Thank you for the follows, everyone. Yeah, I mean, I like doing the lives. It's just like, I'm not like a schedule type of motherfucker, so I don't want to say I'm doing a live every day at this time. You know what I mean? Because I don't think I'd be able to fulfill that. So whenever the mood strikes me, I come on here. So, you're always yeah, you are always affirming. YouTube subliminals. I mean, it depends. If you think that a subliminal is working, then it's going to work. It's all, remember, everything is your perception, okay? Like, if you're on here right now and you think I'm full of shit, then that's what it is for you. And don't listen to what I say if it doesn't resonate with you, okay? Like, you could have a spiritual experience sitting on the toilet bowl or jerking off. It doesn't have to be like you in fucking lotus position with fucking reciting mantras. It's just, whatever your belief is gonna play out for you, okay? So if you want to listen to a subliminal because you feel like it's gonna work, then you can do that. But if you don't feel like it, you could just say something once and then let it play out, and it will unfold. Woo! Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, no. How do you handle jealousy when SP is attractive and desirable? No, they're not attractive and desirable. Everyone finds them repulsive but you. Boom. Wants your SP. Ew, fuck that. SP is disgusting. No one wants them, only you. They don't want anyone else either. They only want you. So telling stories that your SP is fucking God Almighty. You're God Almighty. You're the best thing that ever happened to them. So, yeah, exactly. They only get fucking hard for you. Fuck that. Fuck that. They're not attracted to anyone. They don't look at anyone. They don't even know anyone but you, as a matter of fact. If they have a long name, I mean, whatever you want to call them, or if you just picture them in your mind, I mean, it's like, you know who you're talking about, right? You don't need to like write down their entire fucking full fucking government shit, you know? You know who you're talking about. So, How do you get him to blow up your phone? Is that you say, this motherfucker can't live without me. They're blowing my phone up right now. They're outside my house right now. They asked all my friends where I'm at. They stalking my social medias. They have 17 accounts just to fucking follow me everywhere online. That's what you say about them. Whatever you want them to do, you just start saying that they're doing that. Let's see. If they're doing black magic love spells, I mean, like, listen, magic rituals and things like that, it is another form of manifestation, but it's just you're adding like a physical element to it. So if some individuals feel like, burning herbs or doing this or doing that is gonna like help them, it's still all coming from here, but it's kind of like an affirmation, like it's just giving them the energy to be more confident in it, but it's still all manifesting. So I mean, that's just the way that they would go about doing that. Let's see. How do I get subway? What do you have to say? Okay, so a lot of questions. Woo, hey, yeah, I'm live. Yeah, I am gonna put on YouTube. Okay, detachment, I already spoke about, which I don't like saying detachment. I like saying remain unattached, because detachment means that you're removing something, and it's like now that's leaving a space, it's leaving a void, so you just remain unattached. And how you do that is you just stick with the story you want, and you don't look at anything in the 3D, especially if it's showing you some shit you don't want. And laugh at it too. Like, laughing at the 3D a lot of times, like for me personally, has really worked. I'm like, this shit ain't real. What the fuck is that? And then this shit just went away. You can manifest anything you want within 2 weeks with just robotic affirming, okay? I mean, you just had to stick with it though. And you had to think of, do you have like a hard belief system against manifesting that 10K in 2 weeks? Because what I've noticed is that the things that you don't give a shit about, or you don't have a long built up backstory with, they'll come fast because there's no resistance. But if you're robotically affirming in 2 weeks and you still didn't get what you want, it's likely because you have a backstory about that thing that is contradictive, okay? So, woo, thank you. I'm glad you are enjoying my content. So yeah, I mean, the thing is with like a lot of this stuff is that creation is already finished. So if you're manifesting something and you're not seeing results, it's because of you, because you have the resistance to it. Whether you don't believe that it's possible or you're too impatient, it's because of you, because you have the resistance to it. Whether you don't believe that it's possible or you're too impatient, you're too focused on the time, or whatever it is, $10 could show up on your doorstep right now, but likely you have so much resistance to that you're like, well, that's not possible, but it is, because anything is possible. Okay, yes, I will do. So yourself from thinking you won't be able to do is you say, I can do anything. I do everything that I want. I'm God. Everything goes my way. And just start with that, okay? My YouTube is Oculus. It's the same zero QULUS as this one. All my socials are linked in my bio. Okay, so no, belief is not necessary. Belief is not necessary to get what you want, but if you have a big belief system that contradicts what you want, that's an old program running in the background, and it's taking up fucking storage, right, in your fucking phone. And now to, like, if you want to download this new app, but you have that old belief system that's in direct contradiction to it, the new app with the new story, which already exists, which you don't need to believe in, you're just like, oh, it's already here. Because if you can say that something is already there, it's like you kind of believe it anyway, right? Because you're like, well, that's something that came into my mind, so it must be real. You have that old app, it has to be removed because there's not going to be space for it, because it's in direct contradiction. That's why you can have everything going amazing in your love life, but your finances are shit, okay? Because they're different sectors. So it's like you need to look at your beliefs in each sector of your life and not look at everything as a whole, okay? And you have to look at, well, what do I believe about this sector? What have I always believed? It's a program. But your thing that you want, you don't need to believe that it exists. You just have to be like, okay, well, I can perceive that, so therefore it must exist on some level. But if you're trying to download that new app, but the old one is still there in that same category, like let's say finances, the old app is just not going to leave space for the new one, okay? Because then the old app is going to start asking you, are you sure you want to delete? But this is taking up this memory or whatever. And that's how it works, at least in my opinion. So how do you remove the old programs and like repetition or so number one, identify what the program is, okay? So let's say if you have shit beliefs about money, then you had to just affirm the new story and say, I've always been lucky with money. I've always been financially free. I am wealthy. I have always been wealthy. Money always comes to me no matter what I do. And it's the repetition of that that's gonna like, it's gonna keep saying, right? Are you sure you want to delete this app? I am financially free. Yes. Boom. It takes it away. And like, I'm not saying that you need to even spend time doing this. You might be able to delete a belief system, boom, in one shot. If I could snap my fingers, I would do, but I don't know how to snap my fingers. No, I don't give a fuck. But you can do it in one shot. It just depends. Like, I don't know your psyche. I don't know anyone's psyche, obviously, other than mine. So if like you believe that you can have that instantaneous belief paradigm shift, that instantaneous shift, I would say go with it more than a belief. Be like, this is what we're doing now, that's it, and just stay on that course. I gotta snap my fingers. I don't know. I always thought it's because I had nails, but I was never able to do it. Let's see. How to not waver when you're not aware of your power. I'm pretty sure that I answered that. So, let's see. I've never had like a really bad circumstance with an SP. Honestly, like, I mean, maybe at the time I thought it was, but looking back now, I've never had a bad circumstance. Every SP, even before I was into manifesting, always showed up exactly how I perceived them to, always, like whether it was bad or good. But I mean, I've had honestly pretty good experiences with SPs. But that's just because I expect, I don't know, good experiences with SPs. Let's see. My head would, yeah, I mean, okay, look, guys, anything with an SP, if what you want to happen is not happening in 3D, you had to keep persisting with that story. You just have, like, that, it's persistence, okay? And you cannot be obsessed with SP. I will tell you this, because you being obsessed with the person, what are they doing right now? Who are they with? What, like, it's like, it doesn't matter what they're doing. It matters what you're doing, because they're following you. They have no choice because you're God. So if you're on their shit thinking about everything about them 6 ways to Sunday, then you're just putting them on the pedestal and you're giving them control to contact you whenever they feel like it or to do whatever they want when you're the one that's in control. So you just have to say, SP, what are they doing right now? They're thinking about me. What are they doing right now? They're jerking off thinking about me. They're looking at my pics. They're stalking my social media. They're outside my house. You have to put it in your favor, no matter how delulu it fucking sounds. Yeah, there is power. Oh, glad you found me too. There's power because, you know, if you're enveloping that character fully, then that's who you are. Like, another thing that I like to do is think of, like, you know, you have alter egos and shit like that. So if it's too much for your, like, your normal persona, make up a fucking alter ego who's a badass motherfucker who gets whatever the fuck they want, whenever the fuck they want. and they have superpowers and all of this shit. Whatever it is, go fucking ape shit in your mind, okay? And you're just like, what would this motherfucker do in this situation? Would this motherfucker be staring at their phone waiting for a text message? Would this motherfucker be wondering how their bills are going to get paid? No, this motherfucker is enjoying their life because they know that everything fucking goes their way. So think of an alter ego, and you could do that too. You know what I mean? So you don't need to be sorry to ask it. It's a valid question. Yes, you can affirm that someone, you can affirm that. You can affirm whatever you want. Like, there's no, I mean, don't let someone judge you because you want something. You want it because you want it. So yes, you can affirm for whatever you want. Aw, thank you. I mean, so yeah, like, guys, another thing that I just want to tell you is that whatever you want, you can have that, okay? Whether society would say, oh, well, you shouldn't want that. It's like, no, you know the reasons why you want what you want, and it's perfectly valid, and you're God. So only you can judge yourself. So don't let anyone ever judge any of your manifestations. About mirroring. Okay, so I mean, everyone is always mirroring you, right? Because they're all reflections of you, and it might not be like the exact image like in real time, but what you dominantly think of someone and what you expect them to do and behave with you, that's what's going to show up. So I mean, you have to think of, like, if someone is showing up in your reality as a fucking asshole, why? Like, do you have a story about them, or is it just like a story about, let's say, a coworker is an asshole? You don't have a story about this specific coworker, but you just think coworkers in general are fucking assholes, right? So you have to really narrow it down and see what caused that, okay? But a lot of times, like, if there's just some random motherfucker that they're just like, they're just an asshole, and you're like, well, I don't know what this is. You're just like, okay, who cares? And you just move about your day. Okay. So like I said in the beginning, is like, how much do you take the 3D seriously? How do you react to the 3D? If you see something that you don't like, you just like, okay, whatever, and you just keep it moving, you don't think about it again, then you fucking sail through fast. But if you dwell on it and you harp on it, then you're just perpetuating that fucking issue. Change your name. Keep persisting. Yeah. How not to react if it's in your face. I mean, you have to just look at it and saying, because this is going on, I'm getting what I want. Like, no matter what this is, I'm getting what I want. And you just have to double down on whatever story you want. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you have to do. It's always about you. It's never about anyone else. Like, it's only you. There's no one, I mean, okay, right? Someone else asked this earlier. Oh, are other people real? Yes, like, other people are real, but they're only reflecting you. So it's really just you dealing with you. So if you want to see someone in a more favorable circumstance, or you want them to show up better for you, then just start saying, this person always shows up for me in the best possible way, or be very specific how you want them to show up. You know what I mean? So that's all you have to do. I'm glad you manifested things with the help of my videos. That's why I post them. Good for you. So, okay, inspired actions and bridge of incidents. This is a great question. Thank you. So the thing with inspired action is that you're just going to be pulled to do it. It's not going to be something that you logically think about. Okay. So if you're manifesting $1 million, logically, you're going to think, well, I should apply for this job, or I should play the lotto, or whatever the case, right? That's logic. Okay. An inspired action, if let's say you already held your destination in the GPS, like, I have $1 million in my bank account right now. That's it, motherfucker. And then the inspired action behind that would basically be, you just feel pulled to go to the beach that day. And you're like, all right, like, this feels good to go to the beach. You don't know why you're doing it, but you just feel drawn there. Like, the inspired action is going to draw you. You're not going to have to think about it, and you're not going to have to move yourself, if that makes sense. And at the beach, You might find a winning lottery ticket at the beach, but you weren't thinking, oh my God, like, how's it going to happen? It was like, it just drew you there. Okay. And the bridge of incidents, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bridge of incidents. Like, the bridge of incidents could be instantaneous, but a lot of times when people talk about a bridge of incidents, it's like, okay, so let's say someone wants a better job, okay, or they want a promotion, and then they get fired from their current job. They're not going to see it necessarily as like a positive thing, because that's not what they were manifesting. But if they had not got fired from that job, then they never would have applied to a new job who would have paid them double. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's all just, it's kind of, I mean, in my opinion, the bridge of incidents is like, if you set your goal in the GPS, right? You're like, okay, this is what it is, right? And everything until that thing is solidified in your reality in tangible form, you look at everything. This occurred because I'm getting what I want. I saw that because I'm getting what I want. This is going on right now because I'm getting what I want. And that's going to make the bridge go smoother and quicker. Okay. So let's see. Okay, guys, I want to just tell you this. It feels urgent to your ego that circumstances change, but it's not urgent, okay? And that's just the number one thing. You don't want to ever feel like you need something, or that it's urgent, or that you're desperate, because that is not God. That's coming from your ego. So calm yourself down. And first, if you do feel like your ego is saying that this is urgent, everything is working out perfectly. Everything is already perfect. I'm protected. I'm loved. I'm chosen. I'm provided for. I'm cared for. Boom. Make a ballpark affirmation that sounds good for you. Okay. Don't think of it as urgent, but then just start talking about the story that you want. And you say, I'm getting what I want. This is already here. It's already done. Okay. But try not to think of anything as urgent. Okay. And if it is like a tangible thing where like your safety or your shelter is in place, just keep saying that your life is perfect and you are always provided for and you're always protected. That's like the best thing that you could do in that. Okay. But like a lot of times with like, especially with people, it's like because of the strong emotions that you might have for someone else, it feels desperate. Okay. But if you ever feel desperate for a motherfucker, what you're going to do is you're going to say, this motherfucker is desperate for me. They're urgent to be with me. They're obsessed with me. I'm the center of their universe. And you're going to funnel that energy and you're going to put it and you're going to flip the script so that they're the one that's feeling desperate. Okay. So, I mean, every time you put something on urgent, yeah, because you know why? Because when you're thinking of something as urgent, it's a place of lack. And remember, God consciousness already is everything. So, like, there is no lack, because whatever you need that you perceive you need by your ego, you already have it. So you have to just really, if there's like some circumstance going on, right? And I don't know everyone's story, but if you really feel that it's like a crazy situation, you just say, this is already taken care of. I trust the God within me to steer me in the right direction, and that's it. You know what I mean? And this is where you have to trust. Like a lot of times the manifestation is that motherfuckers don't trust because they're so entrenched in their ego and what the 3D is showing them. But you have to trust the unseen more than you trust the seen. Woo! Yes, I'm live. So, I mean, dreams mean whatever you think they mean. And a lot of times, like, dreams could be just showing you what's going on in your subconscious, How quickly can you really create change? You could create change right this second. I mean, it just depends if you have like a belief system that's built up against the thing that you're trying to change. But change is instant. Manifestation is instant. Everything is already here. So, yeah, exactly. I agree. Like, I mean, have more fun with it. Like, nothing is ever as serious as the mind makes it out to be. Okay. And I could tell you this, like, things in my personal experience, even that I was like, earlier along in my journey when I was afraid of things. And then let's say because, I was afraid of it, I had a fear of it, and then it fucking happened, right? Because that was my focus. Even when it happened in the 3D, I was like, oh, like I got through it, and it wasn't as bad as my mind made it out to be. And it's the same thing for the things that I manifested that I really wanted. I'm like, ooh, this shit is going to be so lit. And then when it fucking happened, it even turned out way better than I could have prepared. So everything will always turn out better than you expect it to be, whether it's coming from a place of fear and lack or if it's coming from a place of like peace and happiness. Everything will always turn out better in the 3D. So, yeah, I mean, that's basically how recompose it. Yeah, I mean, because everything in this matrix is like a fear-based thing. Like, think about it. Like, you predominantly hear negative shit, okay? Especially on the news. You hear about all of this, like, craziness, and it's meant to instill fear. But what is it? It's called a news program. It's a program. So not just reality TV, not just all of, like, social media. It's all a fucking program. It's just a matter of what you're tuned into, but it's meant to program you. Yeah, I look at the news, like I see like clips and shit, on TikTok or whatever, but like I look at it as like entertainment. I'm like, okay, that's what they're talking about now. And like every week it's like a different story. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, okay. It's kind of like was the next episode of like this reality show that we're watching, Yeah, program your mind like a computer. I agree. Thank you for the follow. Favorite authors and books. I mean, in regards to like manifestation, one of my favorite books is The Kabbalion by the Three Initiates. Like that one, it's so fucking good. Another one that I like is Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. And then another one that I like is The God Academy by Angelica Crystal Powers. I really like those. If you ignored the 3D, I mean, like, okay. I think a lot of times, like when people talk about ignoring the 3D, it's like you still go about your business in the 3D, right? You still do what you have to do. You still shower and brush your teeth and all that shit. But while you're showering and brushing your teeth, you're just affirming and you're saying, I'm getting what I want. I'm getting what I want. So you're looking at the circumstances and you're putting a spin on it that it is what you want, not what it's showing you. Okay, and the more you do that, it's like a hologram, right? It has to change and start reflecting back to you what you're projecting onto it. Yeah, I'm live. I am. I'm just chilling here, relaxing, hanging out. So even if it's something that you don't want, yes, it's happening because you're getting what you want. Because now you're not focused on what you don't want. You're looking at it and you're like, oh, okay, I don't prefer that. So yeah, that's occurring because I'm getting what I want. And then you look at what you do prefer. Do I feel close to Neville's teaching? I mean, I think he has some great stuff. I love his Barbados story. I love his story about how he got out of like the army and things like that. I do think he has really good content. You don't need to feel or visualize if that's not something that resonates with you. You can just affirm, or you can write something out, script it out, and then it could happen. It just depends. But do you need to feel your manifestation real? I mean, it's wonderful if you can do that because it's just an added element, but you don't need to feel it. I've manifested plenty of things, and thank you. And I haven't felt it real. I just said it robotically, and it happened. So yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of like what is working best for you. If you're not a visualizer, if you're not a feeler, just keep saying it in your mind or listen to it in like Parrot app, like the sleep affirmations or something, The books are The Kabbalion by the Three Initiates, Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland, and The God Academy by Angelica Crystal Powers. Okay, so someone said about manifest out of a messy situation. Number one, that comment already passed, but do not think of the situation as messy. Think of it as already taken care of, already resolved, okay? When you tell a story, does it have to be the exact same new story? I mean, as long as you have like a general idea of what you want, like if your goal is to be financially free and a millionaire, then that's where you're gonna stick with, you know what I mean? Like you can just say all of my monthly expenses are on auto pay, everything is always taken care of, you know, like I don't have any bills, like whatever it is, you know. But does it have to be exact all the time? No. I mean, I would just say, like, if there's like something very specific that you want, like just have one affirmation that is easy to memorize and pull up at the drop of a hat, and just keep saying that. Like, I'm a millionaire, my life is perfect. Like, whatever it is specifically that you're looking for, this way you can have that throughout the day. But I mean, you don't have to keep it exactly cohesive all the time. You know what I mean? How many times a day should you say your affirmations? For me personally, if I'm thinking, I'm saying my affirmations, but that's just me. But you really want to just focus on saying your affirmations, especially if you're triggered in the 3D. Some people I know, they set like timers specifically on their phone, like 3 to 5 times a day for like 10 or 20-minute increments, and just affirm. But the most important thing is this is why I do it throughout the day, because you're always talking to yourself in your mind. So you could affirm for 20 minutes to a timer, but then if the rest of the day you're thinking against it, it's going to override it. So be mindful of your self-talk throughout the day. Like, ideally, if you're thinking about your desire, you should be thinking of it like it already happened and in a positive manner. That's how ideally you want to do that. Your family member, I mean, you don't have to listen to what they're saying, but you could just say that they respect your version of how the universe works and how money works. Like, you can just start saying that. They appreciate me and they respect my views on everything. Because again, it's still your perception of them. The third book was The God Academy by Angelica Crystal Powers. So, I mean, you can I mean, okay, do you think someone is manifesting you? Because if you already think that someone is manifesting you, then they fucking are. Like, that's the short answer of it. But really, I mean, no one can manifest you without your permission. So why would you think that they're manifesting you, and why would you give them permission to manifest you? And this could also work if you want your SP to manifest you. You could just be like, oh, this motherfucker's manifesting me because they're so obsessed with me. Like, you could just say that too, you know? Is having a high self-concept keeping people away? No, because, I mean, unless you think it is. But if you have a high self-concept and you're like, oh, no one approaches me because they're intimidated, then yeah, that'll keep someone away. But it's not because you're high self-concept, it's because the other thoughts that you have going on within that, you know? No one has free will. If you think someone is manifesting you, you're the one that's giving them that thought or idea or permission to manifest you, but they're really not. They're just going by what your perception of them is. So, woo! Oh yeah, I love everyone in here. We're having a good old time. So yeah, like the free will thing, like I know that's like a hot topic of conversation, because there are some motherfuckers that talk about, oh, well, you shouldn't manifest a person because it violates their free will, but they're you. So even if you think that they're manifesting you, you still gave that to them. They're not doing that. You know what I mean? You're too focused on the time if you're looking and you're saying you've been manifesting for 2 months and nothing happened, because the first thing you mentioned was the time. So stop thinking about the time. Yes, every time you start worrying, you should flip the script, and you should either make a ballpark affirmation like saying, this has already been resolved, I have nothing to worry about, or you could just affirm the opposite, like the thing that you want is already done. Because, you know, woo, thank you. Hey from Scotland. How you doing? Can you manifest like you missed an audition but you still want the job? Yeah, I mean, because it doesn't matter. They can make an exception for you if you miss the audition. It doesn't matter. They liked you so much that they just decided that they would set up a special time and place to have just you come in and do whatever you had to do. So, you had to manifestate. What's it? You share some personals. I'm looking at all the. How do I make come visit me? If you live, okay. Hey, from Barbados. Are you really in Barbados? That's fucking amazing. So what about the age? I'm just trying to look at like what. Okay, why would you think that there would be any type of obstacle such as an age difference between you and SP? Like, why would you even think that? You shouldn't think that there would be anything stopping you. So what is that? Where the age difference story come from you, from the person, from family members, from society? Like, no, fuck that. It doesn't matter. Your SP wants to be with you and it doesn't matter. Fuck the age. Okay. Oh shit, you were born in Barbados. I love it. Yeah, Barbados looks so beautiful. I've never been there. I always wanted to go though. So because it's 20 years, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Age ain't nothing but a number. So don't look at the age, because the more you're concentrated on the age, then, you know, the more age is going to be prevalent. Ooh, okay. Barbados and New York. That's fucking awesome. Okay. So yes, you can apply that to religious differences as well. It's only an obstacle if you believe it is. So revision is just really like, let's say you're talking to, I'll use a SP as an example. They tell you that they don't want to talk on the phone because they just like texting. You would just go in and revise it. So as they told you, oh, I love talking on the phone. You're the only one I want to talk on the phone with. And you would just put whatever you wanted, how you wanted that to go as the outcome and just go from there. Okay, but you don't even have to revise. All you really had to do is just you know, you can just affirm the opposite, or you could pretend that never happened. Picture him already with you wherever you're at. Picture him next to you, going to sleep next to you, waking up next to you, doing shit with you, wherever you're at. Just picture them, or you can affirm that they already came to visit you. Ooh, thank you. Yeah, you see, I'm glad that you guys are doing everything and you're like getting what you want, because like really you can have whatever the fuck you want, you know what I mean? So, do I manifest? I mean, I don't manifest for clients. That's not really my thing, you know, like everyone can manifest for themselves. And like, yes, someone is going to ask like, oh, can you manifest for other people? Yes, you can manifest for other people, because remember, the other person is another aspect of you. Do I think divination is a real thing? Yes. I've done a lot of divination. I mean, it's just, you know, again, it's the same thing. It's like a belief system. If you believe in it, then you'll see evidence of it. If you don't believe in it, then you're gonna think it's fake, you know? Oh yeah, the energetic ultimatum, definitely, because you know, energy is more powerful than matter, honestly, because all physical matter comes from energy. So it's like, however you're acting in the 3D, it is what it is. Let's just call it that. But if you're energetically aligned and you're just focused on whatever you want to happen in your imagination and your thoughts, it's more important than what you're doing physically, honestly. Okay. So, I mean, just go through the 3D as you have to go through it, or how you feel is best to go through your 3D. But if you're keeping yourself aligned in your imagination, that's more important. Woo, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy watching. Oh, you saw a shift in a day. Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Ooh, thank you for the rose. So, I mean, yeah, that's like, wait, so you get rid of... Yes, you can get rid of limiting beliefs with repetition, or you can just, I mean, you can honestly even affirm once and say, I don't have any more limiting beliefs, and it could happen. It really depends on you, you know? So, Everything is possible. Okay, so accountability, karma, I mean, can you manifest, if that's what your belief is and that's what you want to happen, then yes, that will happen because of your belief. And like, I personally don't believe in karma. Like the way people talk about it, I feel is just very egoistic and backwards. But if you want someone to receive karma or take accountability or something to happen because of what they did to you or what they said to you, that's your belief in it, and you can very much have that occur. So I mean, it really depends on your belief in it, you know. If you want an apology, just picture them apologizing to you. Should you tell them what you want to get? I mean, okay, honestly, like if you're dealing with a specific person, I would suggest doing what feels right in the moment, and not doing anything from a place of fear or needing an explanation or needing an answer, because that is almost always coming from a place of fear, and you might not get the answer that you want. So like, think about it like this, okay? If you're truly living in the end with your SP and you're married or you're in a relationship or you're living together or whatever it is you want, if you're truly living in the end, you're not going to be looking for an apology because you're already in the perfect relationship. The apology would happen naturally in the bridge of incidents on its own. Okay? Like it all of that would sort itself out if you were truly living in the end. You wouldn't have to have a talk like, oh, what are we doing, where is this going? Because if you're living in the end and you're successful and you're not wavering, and that's where you're at, it will happen and you won't need to do anything. That's why, like with Neville's story with Barbados and shit, he didn't do anything, he just imagined it, and then the fucking ticket arrived at his doorstep. So you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, live in the end exactly what you want. Just what do you want, and only focus on that, because a lot of times, like, you know, especially with like manifesting specific motherfuckers, like you're very focused on little things that are not going to matter in the grand scheme of you being in a successful relationship with them. So if you don't hear back from them in an hour, okay, are you going to be flipping out? No, because you're in a relationship with them, so you're going to know what they're up to. Like, so you're not going to be stressing over why didn't they get back to you in 3 seconds flat. You know what I mean? So if you just live in the end, especially with a person, with what you want from them, and no matter what, you just stay true to that story, it will happen, and that all of those things will sort themselves out. Yeah, you can decide what type of life other people have. I mean, sure, because they're all reflections of you anyway. So, I mean, that's what it is. Um if they took a day to reply, that's still a circumstance. So why would you be focused on that if you're living in the end of a relationship with them? You wouldn't be thinking about that, right? Living in the no, living in the end is not detachment, because you have your desire. So you're like, you're always attached to your desire because you are your desire, right? You're just not attached to the when or the how. You're just like, it's already done, it's done now. So when does it matter? Because it's done now. How doesn't matter either, because it's done now. That's what they call detachment. But you're still thinking about your desire. You're just not wondering about the logistics of it. Okay. What to ignore in 3D or what to walk away from, again, I can't answer that for you, because it really depends on how you feel about something. Like if you feel like totally disrespected by something or someone, then you know you should stand up for yourself in that aspect. But I mean, it really, like, I don't know how you'll be feeling. Like, can you deal with whatever situation that is and feel good about it, or do you need to say something about it, or is it better for you to just walk away? Like what I say with dealing with 3D, you know where you want to go in your mind, but in the 3D, like, you're doing what is going to make you feel the most calm and the most at peace. You're not getting all excited, oh my god. You're not like coming from a place of fear. Oh, well, I need this answer now. No, you're just like, well, this feels best in this moment, so that's what I'm going to do. But in your mind, you still know the destination. So, I mean, that's like the best advice I can say about dealing with the 3D. You know, like you just always want to do what is making you feel good in the moment. And if it feels good in the moment for you to just put your phone on airplane mode and take a nap, then that's what you do. See, should you avoid things that can make us trigger? Should you avoid? I mean, I wouldn't actively avoid something either, because there's still like an intention behind it, which is coming from a place of lack, right? So if you're manifesting money and you avoid looking at your bank balance, you're doing it with like a purpose. Whereas if you just genuinely nonchalantly don't care to keep looking at your bank balance. So it's about the energy behind that. So with like 3D circumstances, you just want to do whatever feels good in the moment. Okay, so if it's like, yeah, I'll check my bank balance tomorrow, I don't care. That's a different energy than being like, I can't check my bank balance because I might get triggered. You see, so you have to gauge where you're at, because I don't know where anyone else is at in terms of like their triggers. Only you can know that. How do you... Heavy emotions, I would just let them out, just process them, just let them flow through. But while the emotion is coming out and it's being released, just keep focused on what you want. Okay, keep your mind focused and your mental diet focused on what you want, and just be like, this is just an emotion. It's just, I'm gonna allow it to pass, and that's it, you know. In the moment, it feels good to think revengeful thought, then that's what feels good to you. That's it. If that's what works for you in the moment, then that's what it is. To think the opposite, I think like at a certain point, like everyone, you know, anyone that talks about this, right? Like, of course, there might be still doubts that come up or whatever, or something like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? But it's about how fast you can get out of that. So if I have a doubt or something that I feel might trigger me, I take my own fucking advice that I tell everyone on here with my videos. I'm like, nope, that's not what it is. I'm God, this is what I want. And then I let whatever emotion just pass through, but I don't take it seriously. And like, I know like for a lot of individuals, like the feeling is the most important thing for them, because you ideally want to be feeling good, but you really don't want to be feeling like excited and oh my God all the time. You want to be like at a calm place of peace, because that's God consciousness, right? You're not like, ooh, excited, right? Because you're excited, it's fleeting, right? If you're angry, you're pissed off, it's fleeting. But if you're just calm and you're always calm, that to me is the ideal. So whatever you need to do to get yourself calm and at true neutral, you just do that. Like no matter what it is, okay? So, I mean, I don't know. I can't, you know, like everyone's journey is different, but I mean, I practice what I preach. I don't entertain thoughts that come from out of nowhere. I'm just like, how did this motherfucker get in here? I'm God, I'm getting what I want. And I give myself a fucking hype up. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's normal. Like you're going to have thoughts. Like thoughts in and of themselves don't mean anything. If you have a doubtful thought, you're just like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to look over here because this is what I prefer. And that's it, you know? So, I mean, if you're manifesting a friendship back, just picture you having them already back in your life, doing whatever you would normally be doing with them or whatever you want to be doing. It's the same thing, like manifesting any person. It could be a family member, it could be a coworker, a friend, whoever it is. It's all the same thing. Like, what do you want from them? And then focus on that version of them only, you know? Robotic affirmations alone can bring in your manifestations, yes. But anything that you do can bring in your manifestations. You can just say one time, I have $10 million in my bank account, and it can happen. So it really, all the techniques like robotic affirmations, they're just there to soothe you. If you start looking at the time, or you start doubting, or you start to have fear, they're just there to soothe you. Ooh, okay, you manifested your ex's downfall. Well, that's great. That's still a successful manifestation, How to manifest a job is you think of what job you want, and you picture yourself, or you affirm, or you script out that you're already there and you're working there, and with the job thing or whatever, another thing you can do is like just say, I am so grateful for this job. I love my career, right? Like, and you just start saying that. Or if it's a relationship, I am so grateful that I'm in a happy, committed relationship with so and so, whoever it is, right? I am so happy and grateful that all of my monthly expenses are on auto pay. Like, whatever it is, you can just start saying that. I'm so thankful that this is. And then your subconscious mind is going to be like, oh, okay. And it's going to show you things. It's like similar to the affirmations, in my opinion. Ah, thank you. What if a job do you think? I have one affirmation tape on my YouTube channel because it was requested, but honestly, I would suggest making your own affirmation tapes because you're most familiar with your subconscious, rather than my voice, right? Like, your subconscious is going to know your voice more than anyone, so it'd be more natural for you to make your own and just listen to your own tapes, and then you can get very specific with what you want. You can get super specific rather than what I could post or what anyone else could post. Hell yeah, I'm on live. Oh yeah. Okay. Are your SP affirmations heard by your SP? Absolutely. That's the thought transmission. That's how this works. Everyone is always picking up everything. So if anyone is feeling like they're obsessing over their SP, you just have to start saying that they're obsessing over you, and you have to flip the script. Like, that's it. You can't just think of them as, oh my God, they're this fucking amazing thing. No, like, you're amazing and they are obsessing over you. What's better? I mean, in my opinion, the I am ones are better, but I mean, you can say I know as well. It doesn't really matter. It depends on your perception. Or you could do both, No, I mean, I don't think there are good or bad manifestations. It's just a matter of what the person wants. Remember, everyone is God, so it's like they want it and they know why they want it. So who am I or anyone else to judge why someone wants what they want? They want that. That's it. And because they're God in their universe, they're the ones deciding the morals. So if they're manifesting something and they decide it's good or bad, then that's how it's going to play out for them based off of their perception, not because of like anyone else. So, I mean, whatever anyone wants to manifest, I don't give a shit because they're doing that on their own. It has nothing to do with me. So I don't think there is good or bad. It's just you want what you want, period. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I did talk about this earlier. If someone is manifesting you, if you think someone is manifesting you, then they're manifesting you, but they can only manifest you because you're saying that they are, because they cannot manifest anything in your experience, but you're giving them that allowance to say, oh yeah, they're manifesting me. Like, so why would you say that they're manifesting you? Because they're only manifesting you because you gave them permission to. So the difference between like reality transurfing and law of assumption, even law of attraction, it's all the same thing. It's just it comes from like a different, I guess, title, you know what I mean? But it's all the same thing. It's just you're creating your experience based off of what you're focused on. And okay, right? Law of attraction is like, oh well, you're attracting experiences to you based off of what's going on inside. Law of assumption, you assume the state of the wish fulfilled, and then the reality merges to meet you there. Reality transurfing, you're switching a timeline, right? Based off of what you feel. Everything is the same thing. It's like based off of what is going on, your mental focus, okay? It could be your feelings too, but it's your thoughts which are going to dictate your feelings. It's your frequency. How many times do you frequent this idea? How many times you frequent that idea? You're going to crowd out all other possible timelines, all other possible possibilities, because you're crowding that out with your frequency on the thing. So if you're focused dead ass on I am a multimillionaire and you don't let anything else deter you, now that crowded out everything else. Now you have assumed the state. Now you are in the vibration, and that thing is going to vibrate to you because things come to you, because everything is a wave. So you're essentially being you're surfing, okay, in the fucking ocean, and like the waves are just bringing you to the experience that you are focused on. But it's the same thing. It's all the same thing. When you feel fear to do something, you must feel the fear. But if you, what? Love you. When you feel fear, I totally didn't understand that question. If you feel fear, a friend's lecturing. Well, I mean, if they don't believe it's real, I mean, they're still manifesting that experience for themselves, so it wouldn't be real for them. I mean, but they would be manifesting that it isn't real. You know what I mean? More patient. Oh God, me with patience. Woo! Yeah, I mean, like, for me, I think it's not even about, like, you know, like, yes, you should be patient, because when you don't care about the timing, that's when it usually comes, because the time doesn't exist. So I would say, like, I practice more on being focused and present in the moment, rather than looking at when is it coming, when is it going to get here. You know what I mean? It's about like enjoying every moment to the fullest as best you can. That's why I say in the 3D, do what makes you feel the best, but keep your mental diet here. So that's my opinion on that. I mean, I don't know. If you feel stressed to do something, it scares you, you must do it or no on that. I mean, I don't know. If you feel stressed to do something, it scares you, you must do it or no. On you, like everyone is different, right? So it's kind of like, if you feel fear about doing something, but you're just like, if it feels more like a roller coaster, right? Like you're a little like, woo, like, I mean, I don't get fear with the I love roller coasters, but this is just an example, right? You're like, ooh, you're like that exhilaration, but you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it anyway. Like, then yeah, you should go for it. If you're afraid of something, like if you genuinely are just like, whoa, no, then I don't think you should, you know what I mean? But it really depends on you. Like, I don't want to answer for anyone about the way that they're feeling, because I don't know how anyone is feeling, right? A lot of times motherfuckers say, just look fear in the face and just do it anyway, and you'll feel liberated and relieved. And yes, I believe that's true. But also, if you have a fear, like, yeah, I really shouldn't, like, get on that fucking plane or whatever the case, right? And then you don't, and then some shit happens. Like, I've heard stories like that too, so I can't answer that. It just depends. Like, and the more that you're in tune with yourself, like, you are able to discern that. But what I will tell you is that with intuition and things like that, it will never make you feel afraid, okay? Like, even if, let's say, you're not meant to get on that plane, right? Like, yeah, I'm gonna skip that flight. It's not gonna make you feel afraid. Your intuition But your ego will be like, well, don't get on the plane because planes this, planes that, or like some people have a fear of flying, I don't know. Okay. That's different. Okay. Whereas intuition, you're not going to feel anything. It's just going to be neutral. Like, don't get on that plane. You're like, okay, no problem. But if your ego is like, don't get on that plane, and you're like, whoa, like that's your ego, because you're gonna feel something. And that's like the best way I could describe it. Okay, like if it's a true intuitive thought, you're not gonna feel shit. It's just gonna be, oh, okay, it's gonna be like a direction. Okay, anything that's causing a constriction, that is all ego. So it really depends on what you want to do. That's good that you rarely feel pain. Or feel, yeah, I mean, then that's fucking amazing. I say stick with it, whatever you're doing. I mean, if you're okay, like the ego is not all bad. Like, I like when motherfuckers talk shit about the ego and transcend the ego death, all of that. It's like, as long as you're in a physical vessel, you're still gonna have an ego, right? Because that's what's separating. Like, I'm in this vessel, you guys are in your vessels, right? That's like, you're not gonna get around it in the fucking I'm in this vessel, you guys are in your vessels, right? That's like, you're not gonna get around it in the fucking 3D. The thing is, like, the ego is notions for whatever reason. Okay, and that's just because the ego has a story associated with that is trying to keep you in place, because that's what feels safe. It's trying to protect you, really. Like, that's all it's doing. Snap my fingers and get what I want. Yeah, that's so funny. I don't know if you hear earlier, but I was saying I don't know how to snap my fingers, so I just say other shit. I'm like, every time I fucking take a sip or a puff of something, I get what I want, because I don't know how to snap my fingers, but it's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I definitely know that, if you can, if that's your belief, snap your fingers and get what you want. So, let's see, how important is self-concept? I said this earlier too. You don't need self-concept to manifest. I mean, it does, like, it just boosts your overall 3D experience, but you can manifest shit and have a shit self-concept, because I've seen it happen with motherfuckers. So, you know what I mean? It's just, that's what it is. Yeah, spirit snaps, right? Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, discern. Exactly. Aw, thank you, Purple J. Ego protects that, why it feels, yeah. Yeah, it depends. Like, everyone's experience is different. So the ego is not all bad, but it's just trying to keep you in one place. So, I mean, like, it's up to you. Like, someone else just said right there with the discernment, it's like you have to really decide, like, what you want. Like, you're always being guided by your higher self, or God, or source, or universe, whatever you want to call it. So if you're in like a situation where it's like your ego is like really like that, you could just be like, I know what this is. This is my ego, but I trust and allow my higher self to guide me. And then, you just have to trust. Like, a lot of manifestation too is like about trusting, because it's not like you're going to fucking work and you're getting a paycheck on every whatever 1st or 15th of the month, or whatever the case, right? It's like you're putting in the work. You don't know when this shit is going to materialize. So you have to trust that it is. And typically manifestations will happen like, when you're not looking for them. This is just my opinion. I mean, because I don't know, it's like, I feel like when you're looking for something, you're in the energy of looking, right? So then it's not going to happen. But if you just turn your attention away for 1 second, then whoop, it shows up, because now for something, you're in the energy of looking, right? So then it's not going to happen. But if you just turn your attention away for 1 second, then whoop, it shows up, because now for something, you're in the energy of looking, right? So then it's not going to happen. But if you just turn your attention away for 1 second, then whoop, it shows up, because now, like, you're, that's when you're not, like, you're looking to the energy of, how you yourself better. I mean, I think it just takes like experience and practice, you know. Oh hell yeah. Oh my god, you remember the Barbados keychain shit? Yeah, that shit was often awesome. I mean, you just have to like keep trusting. Like, and I know it sounds fucking cringy as shit, but you just have to be like, I trust and allow my higher self to guide me right now. Or you could even intend to like have your higher self give you a sign that it heard you or something. You know what I mean? Like whatever is gonna like resonate with you. But all you need to do yeah, that story is fucking wild, right? All you need to do is just trust and be in the moment. Like, that's the most important thing. Like, because you can literally say I want this and then just be in the moment and not think about it again, and then it'll fucking happen. You know, it's just like a lot of times we are in the ego mind. And so if you notice you're in the ego, if you're having a limiting thought come up, you just be like, this is already solved, my higher self took care of it, that's it, you know. Exactly, yeah, trust the unseen more than the seen. The ego, you know, like the limiting beliefs and like the thoughts that are, you know, if you're saying I'm a multimillionaire and your ego is like, oh motherfucker, did you check your bank balance? Like that's what I mean by the ego in this context. So yes, you can manifest anyone to do anything that you want. Just stick to the version of them that you want to show up and do not waver from that. Okay, the thing with inspired action is that you don't typically realize that it's inspired action until after you've done it, because it's not going to even feel like you're moving. It's just going to be something that's like you're just guided to do. Like, I'm going to make a left turn instead of a right turn. And then, you know, you find $6 million in a duffel bag across the street on the left-hand side of the fucking, you know what I mean? Like, so you're it's not going to be something you had to think about it, you know? Do I believe in this or something better? I mean, listen, if that's the story that someone is going with, like, that's great for them. But, like, you don't need to say that, because then now it's like, whoa, well, okay. Then do you really want that thing? Because if you really want that thing, you're just saying, I'm getting this, period. Or I'm getting this person, period. Or I already have this is actually a stronger, you know, way to say that. But I mean, if you're open to that, if you're open to this or something better, then yeah, you could do that. But I mean, like me personally, if you want something specifically, you can get that. So why would you even put an option for anything else to cross your path, you know? Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You won't know it's inspired action until after. Do I know Bashar? I mean, I don't know him personally, but I do think that he has good content. I see a lot of his videos on here, like people will repost them, and some of his stuff I agree with, and some of them I don't. Just like anyone, like even with Neville Goddard, like I resonate with a lot of his stuff, but not all of it I agree with. You know, it's just a matter of like what resonates with me. But yeah, my phone is at like 17%, and I don't know how long I've been talking, but I think I'm gonna hop off here in a little bit, because yeah, I've been talking for a while. But I will be putting this on YouTube, because now that I know how to do it, then I don't know when it's gonna go on, but I mean, yeah, I do plan on putting this on YouTube and putting more lives. So do I listen to subliminals? No. I mean, I make my own sleep tapes, like with my own affirmations, and I listen to that, but subliminals, no, I don't. Of course. Yeah, definitely. I will be doing more lives. Like I said, I'm not like a scheduled motherfucker, so I don't know when, but I mean, whenever I guess, you know, the mood strikes me, you know, like the inspired action, as I just said, to come on live, I will do that. Yeah, I use Parrot app, and you record your voice, you say whatever the fuck you want. You could get specific and then just, just play it on repeat throughout the night or throughout the day too. Like, it doesn't only have to be at night. Do I believe in birds before land? Yeah, I mean, birds before land is really, in my opinion, just signs of your reality shifting, but you still have like the old belief system like built up, so you're getting little bits and pieces of the new story. But I mean, that's not to say that you can't just shift instantly and have everything that you want. It just really depends, like the thing is that we're not gonna know like exactly how or when the manifestation is going to come in. Like you could set a date, and yes, I have manifested by a specific date before. I've done that, but it was because I set the date and then I really let it go. I was just like, yeah, it's already done. Like kind of like, the Amazon package analogy that everyone uses. But I mean, if you want to set a date for a specific manifestation, you have to let that date go after you set it. You cannot, like, where is it? No. So, let's see. Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, it is a casual thing because we're always doing that. It's like breathing. It's like people make it into this crazy woo-woo thing, but it's really natural. Like everyone is doing it all the time, Oh shit, the Rebels Creations. That's fucking awesome. I love it. How to not desire something from a place of lack, because you already have everything that you want, because you wouldn't be able to desire it if you didn't already have it, if it wasn't accessible to you. Wait, one more question. The Reddit community, I like the Shifting Realities community on Reddit, and I also like the Neville Goddard community on Reddit. They're really good. So yeah, you can, I mean, if it feels right for you to set a specific date for something, then definitely do that. But I mean, like, don't get too caught up in the date. Just kind of like play with it a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, manifest whatever you want. You can, everyone on here, you can manifest whatever you want. You know what I mean? I mean, you can just say it's done and know that it's already here. Like, that's probably, like, the best thing for you to do. And instead of saying eventually, right? Because look at the language you're using. It's still implying that the thing isn't there, So, yeah, everyone's manifesting themselves. I personally, this is the last question because my phone just told me that he needs a charge in. How do you use the Parrot app that I have? I just say, I say it in present tense, and I say I am, or I have, or like my life is perfect now. Like that's how I personally use it. You know what I mean? Yes. This live is going to go on YouTube once I charge my phone. So everyone, be on the lookout for that if that's something you have an interest in looking. I don't know how long I was talking, but yeah, I need to drink some more water and my phone needs to be charged. So thank you everyone for the gifts and for the follows and for sharing and for being here and for the questions. I always love chatting with all of you, and we will talk again soon.